estate enthusiast. Today I'm going to quickly talk about title. Everyone who has purchased a property or is looking at property, you're very familiar with, working with the title company and making sure your title is free and clear. If you're not, I'm going to quickly just kind of review that because I do know some individuals that don't actually close with the title company. So if you don't know, I live in Texas. And so in Texas, you don't actually need to close through a title company. You don't need any real contract. You just need a form that's notarized, signed, and submitted at the county. There you go. Boom, you own a property. But I feel like some of the simplicity is missing a little bit in our market today. Everything happens really fast. There's a lot going on. And there's a lot of people out there teaching us how to real estate invest. And I feel like we kind of miss how complex real estate actually can be. It's very fun, it's very simple, but let's bring it back to the basics so that we make sure we don't miss anything. So that's why I want to kind of take us back to title. So your title is like the deed to your car. It's not the deed, but it's basically telling you everyone who's ever owned the car since it was manufactured. Wouldn't that be interesting to know? Everything that ever happened with that car, who owned it, what happened to it, is there anything against that car that when I take it over that I should know about? Is it connected to an old family member? Was it ever in someone's estate? Was it supposed to be, was it gifted to somebody? Like, is it connected to anyone, or can I take this and it's mine and I'm good to go moving forward? So obviously we do everything through a title company. I don't want to take that responsibility on myself. I am purchasing a property for the value of the property. I don't want any surprises. I don't want any liens. There's HOA liens, vendor liens, bank liens. I mean, anyone can put a lien on a property. People can cloud the title with lots of different things. So there's lots of free and very easy ways that people can mess with the title of your property. And once someone messes with the title of your property, you can't do anything. So title is incredibly important. And I really don't like the investors out there that use this to their advantage in a negative way. If someone's working on a deal and they're really spending their time on this deal and you do something shady, like it's just not cool. So obviously before you buy a property, talk to your title company, have them run a search on the property and make sure it's free and clear. You want your title to be free and clear. That means there is nothing on that title. So when you go to close, you are it. You are everyone who has owned that property up until you is hands washed. They're done. They're just an old name on it. No connections, no anything, nothing happening. Why I like going through a title is because even though it's free and clear, if you don't get title insurance, title policy insurance, then if something does come back, the title company, they can say, well, we ran it, we did everything, we did our part, surprises happen. So whatever. The niece of the grandson's brother, sister's wife that we didn't know about, that didn't step up and say that they had rights to the property 10 years ago and they all of a sudden show up. That can happen, and it might not lead to anything, but it can cause stops and delays. And if you own a property that something like that happens to, you can't sell it. Like, there's nothing you can do with that property if something like that happens. So not only making sure that your title is free and clear, but we always close with the title company and we make sure that we get title policy insurance. So that way, title company is saying, yes, the property is free and clear, and we are going to take ownership. We're going to pay for anything that comes up that we didn't catch when we were doing a search, or if anything like crazy, like I just said, happens and causes any complications, our insurance is going to kick in and we're going to cover that. We're going to make sure that your title is free and clear, and so you can go forward with whatever you want to do because that's what we said it was. And so we're ensuring that that's what it is for you moving forward, and we're going to take all responsibility if anything does happen. So I think that's really powerful. And I personally would never close on anything that isn't done at a title company. It isn't obviously free and clear at the time of close. Of course, we've dealt with lots of crazy situations that up until close, the title is not free and clear. And you have to get all the family members' signatures, or someone's deceased, you got to get a ton of things signed or whatever it may be. But we don't actually close on the property until the title is free and clear. and I get title policy insurance. So kind of a little bit talking about operations and bringing back to the fundamentals of investing. So many people, they either run a title search and then close by themselves, or they close at a title company. Well, guess what? Your seller, they can do anything they want until you sign the papers at close. So that morning, your seller could go and file bankruptcy on the house. They can do anything. They could cloud the title that morning if you don't close at a title company, because they run it before you sign papers. So I'm just saying that because if you're outside of a title company and you run it and it's like the day before and you're like, it's free and clear, and the next day you sign, just beware that you are leaving yourself open for anything, because the seller still owns that property until you sign it and it's recorded. That's another reason I love staying at a title company, is because they run it, they record it, they do everything, and then they insure it just in case. You obviously pay for title policy insurance, but that's another thing. If title doesn't catch it and something like that happens, then they pay for it. We had a situation a while back, and I did talk about it in one of my other videos, that we closed on a property and title did not record it for 9 months. And the family actually did go through bankruptcy. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't anything like that. They had sold us the house. And so when they were going through their financial distress, it got connected to the house because the house was still connected to them. And so because of that, we had a lot of issues closing that house. It was the title company's fault. We did have title policy insurance. And so we were like hands washed good, but we still had to go through all of that paperwork because that title company did not record it. So I bring this up because especially right now, title companies are really busy. The county clerk's office is really busy. Appraisal districts are really busy. The tax districts are really, really busy. And your document, when you close on that property, has to go through all of those people to be publicly recorded, officially recorded, and have you be the person on that property. So don't just do title during acquisitions and at closing. Make sure that you put it on your calendar, that every 30 days after close, you double check to make sure that, obviously it needs to be recorded. If you're at a title company, it should be recorded like that same day, within that day or that week or whatever. You need to make sure that it's been recorded with the county clerk's office. Once it's been recorded, you then need to make sure that it's recorded with the appraisal district. I found out recently that our clerk's office, they wash their hands. They're like, if the appraisal district finds out, great. If they don't, whatever. We've closed on dozens and dozens and dozens of properties, and I have never had a closing not go through to the tax district. Well, obviously we only pay our taxes once a year. And so every year my taxes come up and it's someone else's name. And I'm just like, what is going on? Someone else's name is on this. Well, who do you talk to? You know, because it's the tax. I talked to my title company and he's like, everything's recorded. Everything is done. So you have to kind of go down that line to figure out where the disconnect is. Well, our county clerk's office is like, we don't, whatever. We record it. It's public records. What gets taken from there is not on us. You need to like physically take your deed to everyone else that needs that on there. So that was really good to know. And I love knowing where the process is and where the disconnects can happen. And so the county clerk's office, usually from there, the appraisal district catches it and then they put it into their information. And then the tax district catches it from the appraisal district. And so then your information is on your tax documents, it's on the appraisal documents, it's filed with the county, and then obviously your title company has everything that they need. So there's quite a few steps involved. So I bring this up because your operations, when you close on a property, part of it should have on your calendar where you're like, after 30 days from close, we actually need to follow up with the title company, make sure everything's been filed and recorded. Usually they can provide you the recorded deed from the county, so you can just talk to your title company. But then you also want to verify with the appraisal district and the tax district to make sure that they also got those documents. And then after 30 days, if it didn't happen, because in our county, we get behind like 3 to 6 months sometimes. It's kind of crazy. I don't know about you guys, but you know, it happens. So I'll put it on my calendar 3 months. So I need to double check in 3 months. All right, when I look at it, still not there. Okay, who's not talking to who? So I'll either send out an email or make a phone call, then put it on your calendar for another 3 months from that day. Okay, you want to keep following up because like I said, if you didn't buy that free and clear, if you didn't get title policy insurance, and there's a disconnect where someone doesn't file that property, or the tax district doesn't get your information and so they don't send you your tax notice and so you miss paying your taxes, you could be foreclosed on before you've even done anything. So, because some tax districts are really fast. They're really fast on foreclosing on properties. Some of them, you don't have to pay your taxes for 20 years and they're not gonna do anything. Just realize that title, your relationship with your title company and your kind of your structure on how you operate and figure out the title of a property doesn't end at closing. You own that property now and you want to make sure that you are free and clear. You have that property during your life, the time that you're holding that property, and that you are good to go moving forward. So make sure you follow all of those steps. Make sure everyone has the paperwork that they need. Everyone's updated what they needed. And so you are good to go moving forward because you don't want any of those surprises where you're obviously on a tax sale or the appraisal district values your property at an astronomical amount, but you didn't get the notification, so you couldn't fight it. So obviously you want to make sure you're talking to these individuals. So I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe and comment below and check out my next video.